Hey everyone, welcome to Zeitgeist Zealots. I'm Forrest,
I'm Major.
No, I'm Robbie.
And I am Tip.
and today we're going to talk about Episode 5 of Book of Boba Fett and Episode 5 of Peacemaker. And
Ooh,
that
five for
series-
fighting. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay, there we go. Now I got the title. It's like that band's just one guy.
Yeah.
Like, why didn't you just name the music or the artist after himself?
Major
you
for
think
fighting?
it's
That's a great
band with
question.
5 members. It's like, no, it's just one dude who just likes that hockey term. So, anyway, I always thought it was interesting, but I was like, well, good way for him to stand out. So, anyway, Book of Boba Fett was basically a very, very clandestine episode of The Mandalorian.
Yo, can we talk about how the best episode of the Book of Boba Fett didn't have any of Boba Fett in it for a second?
Yeah.
Like, what is this? This is awkward.
That's because they
What's
made
he into
Boba Fett
that,
into a
Paul?
wuss. And
This
so
makes
nobody's
me
really into
believe
him.
The episodes 6 and 7 have to be balls to the wall spectacular from like Dave Filoni and Tamar Morrison, Boba Fett, right? Like you can't write 7 scripts, have the 5th episode be about the Mandalorian, and the episode series called The Book of Boba Fett, and have the Mandalorian be the best episode in there. Like that's franchise killing almost. That's laughable. That's insulting. Don't you think?
Yeah.
So like how good are these next episodes going to be? Before we get into this episode, speculatively speaking, how good are these next episodes going to be? I think they're going to be phenomenal. Like this was such a tease. This was such a tease and a setup. This was the episode 8 I've always wanted.
It almost makes me think that they should just done like a made for Disney Plus movie rather than just like
they're doing it. They're doing a made for Disney Plus movie, or excuse me, they're doing a unspecified Star Wars title, which I believe will be the culmination of the Mandalorian, the Book of Boba Fett, Bo-Katan, and Ahsoka Tano.
Endor.
Sorry, Ahsoka Tano and what I said, Bo. What's Bo's name? Anyway.
Done.
Yeah, I said it right.
I don't think it's been officially announced yet. I think it's just like speculation at this point, but I think maybe they'll wait till season 3 of Mandalorian to actually announce it. Because I think Cara Dune was supposed to get her own show.
Yeah, but that's
obviously
canceled.
Got canceled. So we need another female-led Star Wars property, so they're going with
Bo-Katan. Bo-Katan, yeah. But like this is Disney. Don't forget, like Disney knows what makes them money, like literally from Marvel, right? And that's different properties culminating in a single movie venture, right? So if you get Bo-Katan, Ahsoka Tano, Boba Fett, and the Mandalorian all together in a single movie. Like, dude, don't tell me that's not gonna make it rain like if The Rise of Skywalker was as good as A New Hope. Yeah. Like that would just billions of dollars
of subscription revenue.
Subscription pace. Like, I think it would be a really smart move to make the movie both available in the theaters and on streaming. Because all the shows are on streaming, so you need to make the movie on streaming. But I also think it's gonna be so epic, you would want to make it available in IMAX. Yeah. So I think there's a lot of money to be generated from this, which is important as one, a Disney shareholder, and two, a fan who wants to see these properties and this IP continue.
Yeah. Well, I totally forgot, but we need to talk about the Moon Knight trailer, which will be the next, I think, Disney Plus series. The next Marvel series, but I think the next Disney Plus series will also be Moon Knight. So
speaking of Star Wars, I'm just kidding.
Okay, there's something very important that they missed on The Mandalorian. Did anybody else notice this? Is that he never had to register his vehicle. He just took it out and went off in outer space.
Well, that's because it was pre.
He's
didn't the New Republic pilot stop him though? So they say you got to register that.
Well, yeah, that's the whole point. Like, well, not the whole point, but like. That's
Oh, he
one of
did
the
just
points.
get stopped by the.
Yeah, he got pulled over.
Oh,
the
did
whole
you just
time.
He got
get
pulled
to it?
out. Oh, yeah, I just watched that.
That's funny. While you're talking
thinking
about it,
it.
I was like, didn't that happen?
Yeah, that's a great point too. Like the whole time I was I was watching it, and he was like
That's
flying
so
up
funny.
like next to like the Star Cruiser, right? The travel vehicle, and he was like flying, like doing dangerous maneuvers and stuff. I was like, oh, this seems pretty illegal. Like, there's no way you should be able to fly this close to like a travel like cruiser.
Yeah.
And then like 2 seconds later, he gets pulled over by like the X-wing cops. And I was like,
Oh,
fuck yeah.
Did you guys
And-
catch it was where they were doing their pod racing that he was going through?
Oh yeah, but first I want to highlight that we've seen both of these X-wing officers before.
Who's the
The
Asian
older
one?
gentleman, we've seen him in the last season. He pulled Mando over in the beginning for similar aerial problems. But the second guy, most importantly, the one who was wanting to arrest him or find him at least, that was Luke Skywalker's double from Mando season 2, the last episode.
Oh, okay. Had no idea.
Yeah, so like if he's on set, that makes me think like, why not go ahead and shoot the next episode? Like, are we gonna see Luke? Do you guys think?
Well, I think the rumor is Grogu and Luke.
Well, we're definitely gonna see
Grogu.
Grogu. There's like he got some chainmail. Like, we'll talk about that in a second. And I don't know why I said that like a
Yeah, I wonder what he got.
fucking
now.
southern hick.
Like a little Tony Todd piece. Or
It
something
looks like some chainmail. I'm thinking like some Mithandril, like some
Chainmail
Lord of the
or a
Rings,
helmet.
some Frodo Baggins type like chainmail armor.
See how he had the bag tied up like it's his face.
Like his
Jedis
face.
don't
Yeah,
wear
that was
freaking
so
armor.
cute. That was good. That was so cute. I was like, oh look, it's Grogu's face. I can see the face and the ears, and I loved it. It made me very happy. I miss Grogu.
I'm sure he
Speak-
sold a lot of toys for Christmas, so Disney probably loves him too, but for different reasons.
Yeah.
Speaking of missing things, did you guys miss Boba at all?
Was he even in this episode?
He wasn't. The best episode of Boba Fett didn't even have Boba Fett in it so far. So like,
Well,
I'm asking, like, do you
Let's be
guys
real,
just?
This was a Mandalorian episode. You know,
Well, he also became so famous with barely any screen time.
This was definitely a Mandalorian season 3. Sure.
This was like the This is season 2.5, but the preview for season 3.
Yeah.
So I know. All I want to talk about is like, what do you think it's gonna have for season 3 rather than Book of Boba Fett?
Right?
Like,
Like
I'm way more
exactly. Like this is so much more interesting than anything that's happening in Boba Fett right now. Like, and I think like this has to be either one of the biggest errors of like executive producer history, or
Yeah.
two,
Well-
we're about to see 2 of the best episodes of Star Wars of all time. I
They
mean, like,
couldn't make.
have faith in John Favreau and Dave Filoni.
Well, they couldn't
right?
make their
Like-
spin-off show better than their flagship show. You know, let's-
Exactly. Well, I
They
think
sort
every
of
show
like
should
dial
be
back.
great.
Like, well, it has to be like somewhat interesting, but we can't make it as good as Mandalorian because we got save all our good ideas for that show.
But why not? Why not make Mandalorians? Why not make the Book of Boba Fett, season 1 or just the Book of Boba Fett season all? Right? Why not make that better than the Mandalorian season 2? And then why not make Mandalorian season 3 better than the Book of Boba Fett? Why not get better every integration?
Yeah, I don't know. I just
Is it the talent? Like, this is the biggest IP of all time. There are nerds by the tens of thousands who have written their own fan fiction scripts for the sequel series.
Yeah.
Right? So, how was episode 9 the best fucking script they could come up with to end the sexology, the ninology, or whatever it's called? Right? Like, why not source this to the people who love it the most? Right? Like,
well,
if
they
Catherine
thought they
Kennedy
were. They
came
thought
out and
Rian
said, hey,
Johnson was one of the
send me
people,
your
apparently,
best scripts,
Well,
I think we
it-
could came out with a better sequel trilogy.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like,
No,
Kathleen
but once you
Kennedy
started
herself
getting
said, like,
fans writing,
was- Well, Kathleen Kennedy was completely
Some good
unaware
ideas.
of the extended universe, like the books, the comics. She literally said, like we're not like Marvel. We don't have books and comic books to pull from. So I'm just like, What?
Which is what I love about this series, right? Like Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, they're pulling everything out of canon, right? They're talking about Thrawn.
Even the comics, yeah.
Yeah,
Black
I mean everything. BK, right? Black Chrysanthemum, Black Christmas or whatever you called them. What was that?
Oh,
What was
I
the
thought
name
it was Burger King.
And he didn't. Yeah, he ripped off the arm last episode, so that was the fan service. But yeah, I mean, like
That
like
was
the
great
Mandalorian
fan service,
episode,
too.
not a lot actually happens. It was mainly just the fight at the butcher, the fight on meeting with the Smith, and the fight with the other dude, going
fight
to
with Jon
Tatooine,
Favreau.
getting the ship, and then finishing at the end. So
Yeah.
not a whole bunch happened, but
Not a whole lot happened, but it was hella enjoyable. First off, I love all of the fan service. I don't know if this is real fan service or not, but like I grew up with all of you gorgeous motherfuckers, right? We all faked lightsaber duels. And I'd like to think that every one of us probably would have hit our fucking legs while playing around with the lightsaber, right? So like Mando scarring himself, hitting himself with his own lightsaber in the leg. That's like when I was watching it the first time, I was like, oh no, that's me, dude. That's me. Like I would
it feels
totally
so
fucking be
heavy
trying
to
to kill
watch,
someone
yeah.
with a lightsaber, and I would fucking hit my own leg with it.
yeah, I thought he just got shot, but yeah, I don't know. need to
Yeah,
watch
when
it.
I first watched it, I thought he got shot too.
No, that was from the lightsaber.
But then, they showed a
Ooh.
little replay of it.
Wait, time out. Okay, so when he cut the guy's head off, though, it was still bleeding. What did he cut it off with? Did he not
Well,
just use
should've
the
cauterized
Darksaber and go?
it.
"Meh, meh, 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 meh"? I guess
Was
he
it
like
still
used
bleeding?
a pocket
I didn't see
knife
any
or some
blood.
shit. Yeah, it was
I might have
dripping
missed
blood. Yeah. So he must
What-
have
what
I don't
just
think
like
it was.
whipped out
I
a
don't think it was dripping.
hacksaw or something.
Yeah, the lightsabers. Star Wars is usually pretty good about cauterizing the wounds with
Yeah.
lightsabers.
Yeah.
But that head was bleeding everywhere. I was like, I would have just used the Darksaber thing and cauterized it off.
Dan Tip, I don't know what uncut version of Star Wars you got.
I don't know why that one alien chick was just like, "Come, have a drink with us, or I won't tell you where you can find your contact." And it was
Yeah,
like,
that was
he should
super
have been like, "All right, first
weird.
of all, helmet. You should know
Yeah.
right now."
Really
Like-
wanted him to sit out. And,
So at first time, I thought that was like super awkward, but when I watched it on the second time, I thought that was more awkward. But the third time I watched the episode, I realized it's because he wants Mando to pick up another job. So he wants him to sit down at the table and eat some food, drink some wine,
so about
right?
this other
Before
job.
he offers him another job. But Mando doesn't care about the job. He doesn't care about the money, right? He could just return that bounty to somewhere else to claim the money if he wanted to. He wants the information. He wants to get back to his people,
Yeah.
which I thought was a fantastic scene and a big air fart for him in the end. R.I.P.
Well,
So aren't there
Mando
only,
showing his
like,
face.
Yeah, and they
There's only 3 Mandalorians
live
left.
on Halo.
There's 3 of the Mandalorians from that creed left, and now Mando's got to go back to the living mines of
Dude,
Moria
mountain.
under Mordor or
The
something.
mines of Mordoria and
Yeah.
find the sacred MacGuffin.
Cough, Lord of the Ring, Cough season 3.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited for this, but I am more excited to see Grogu, right? And like, what's gonna happen with Grogu? Grogu's gonna come back. Like, how long has he been with Luke?
He's totally got
It's
a
been that
backseat.
long
He's
of
totally
a-
got a
Luke
backseat
and
ready on
rebellious.
that ship.
He's
for
totally got a
Grogu.
backseat ready in that ship. He was like, "Oh, Amy
Grogu's
there was
totally
like,
gonna
oh, I
be
know you
sick.
don't like droids, so I carved out the R2 spot for you." And I was like,
And
First
made it
off-
a window.
"That's adorable. I can't wait to see Grogu in the back there." And then second, I was like, logistically, like Robbie and I were talking about this, like this is the worst ship ever for the Mandalorian. Like, there's nowhere to poop, right? If you have
You like
2
sleep?
bounties, heaven forbid you're
Well,
fucked.
it's so fast that you don't.
Yeah,
the time
like we were
doesn't-
saying, it's so
not
fast.
as long.
You don't need a bathroom. You can just hit the NOS button and go straight to the next fucking way station or whatever.
No, I told you about the tube that pops out of the seat.
No, it's but
Like, is a catheter?
Are you talking
Yeah,
about
it's
your
like a
mom?
little butt cap.
that's really the bathroom. The seat folds. The seat slides back.
Yeah, a little opening pops up.
Like he's being tracked by the Empire. He's ejected something. Is it spice? No, it's not really worth much. It's like Han Solo had to eject all his everything he smuggled so the Empire wouldn't arrest him. So it's just like the Mandalorian has to eject all his unwantables.
Also, he has a small ship, which would have a limited fuel capacity for interstellar travel.
Yeah.
But
So actually, he's at a severe disadvantage.
They should just taken over Gideon's Star Destroyer thing or
Thank you,
whatever.
Major.
It's probably Star Destroyer because that's like old school. It's like Star
But
Islander.
how does he do a whole season with this? Like, there's no Mandalorian season 3. Is it going to be him talking to Grogu in the back seat, and it's going to cut awkwardly from like one glass tube to another glass like bulbous tube? I don't see this ship lasting very long. I think it's amazing, gorgeous fan service for the 10 people out there, including myself, who love the prequel series. But I just don't see this lasting very long. And I want to give a special shout out to Heavy Spoilers on YouTube.
Oh yeah, I watched them too.
Did you see the part where he intercut from Thor Ragnarok where she says slaves? He's like, "Oh, I don't like the S word," and he's like, and she's just like, prisoners with jobs. And so the rest of the episode, he calls the slave one, Boba Fett ship the slave one. He calls it the prisoners with jobs one.
Oh yeah,
just a special shout out to that kind of like humor, like fucking hilarious. Like
That was funny.
In a shitty week in the stock market, like hearing that replay once or twice, that cheered me up quite a bit. So shout out to Heavy Spoilers.
Yeah, that was great. Well, that's really all I have for this episode. I'm interested to see what's going to happen. I guess we're going to see Boba Fett again next episode.
Oh, so before we cut away, I want to hear everyone's overall thoughts on the best episode of Boba Fett not having Boba Fett in it.
Well,
like,
yeah.
Is this awkward? Really Are you okay with this?
Season 3, and the fact that it's really been like almost like 2 years since that last season came out, right? It was like 2019, right? Or was it 2020?
2019.
Okay, there's been like 2 years since we've had Mandalorian episode. No, it would have been 2020 because it's like
the Mandalorian. Yeah, no, that came out. That came out in 2020. Yes, you're correct.
So,
but like, let me ask you this: like, what if in the middle of Marvel's What If, right? What if the best episode of Marvel's What If was about DC comic book characters? What's about Batman and Superman? Like, that would be
like the worst way to
right?
tell everyone that Disney
looking over at Disney.
You're just like, oh, like
what if
the best episode of this series wasn't about the characters in the series? And that's the Book of Boba Fett right now.
Yeah,
but it's the Mandalorian.
Yeah,
it was a super boring episode, Major. Let's be honest, it was super boring. We all just like to see the Mandalorian because we associate him with the cuteness of Grogu, which gives us the warm, fuzzy feelings that Grogu gives us. So, in fact, your mind is playing tricks on you. It was a super boring episode, but you were delighted with the warm fuzzies of the Grogu Memory Association.
I'm sorry.
See how this works out psychologically.
Tip, I love you, but as you were saying that, every time you were like, oh, you're just associating this with the good feelings of Boba Fett or the Mandalorian. I was just thinking about Boba Fett being like, oh, like a bantha, like the meme, and he's on the motorbikes, and he's just like riding up and down like the meme. Fucking hilarious. Anyway, you're not wrong, but I also think, and Dave and John we trust, right? So I am really looking for a Viagra level event for the penultimate and the ultimate episodes for episode
it'll be better
7.
it'll be better than the last 3 episodes.
Yeah, it had
4 episodes, whatever. So
the next 2 episodes better be good because,
dude,
I mean,
they're gonna be
kind of boring so
they're
far.
Gonna be so fetch.
The whole series.
They're gonna clap or slap. Oh, I hope so.
Yeah. Well, it's like
Let's
even
talk
if
about
they do
something
suck,
that actually
no
slap.
one's gonna lose their Disney Plus subscription. They're just like, well, if you want Mandalorian season 3, you better come back.
You better come back.
It's like,
But let's talk about something that actually
no one's
you
gonna
in there.
get rid of their Disney Plus subscription. Last episode.
It's like, oh, you gotta be quicker than that.
So, like, there are no consequences. They have Star Wars. They have the power. They'll just do something else. You know.
I will tell you, it's super annoying. Like this week, I was looking for superhero content, and like I love Invincible, but it's not rewatchable, right? Like you can't just like go back and rewatch like an old episode in the middle of a season and fully enjoy it, right? Like it's a better story told altogether.
Yeah,
It's like a sandwich.
Yeah.
It's not a cracker and some cheese.
you'll never get that first experience again, when
Right?
You're just
Never,
like surprised, like because you have no idea that he's
Unless you read the
really
comic.
evil.
Oh my god, it's so good. I'm so
Yep,
jealous of my
and then
kid.
the slaughter starts.
Yeah, I had no idea the first time I watched it.
Oh,
What a great way to end that
slaughter.
episode.
But like with Batman the Animated Series, it's like a good cracker with cheese, right? Like you can just pick up one out of the middle of the plate and fucking enjoy it. Like you don't have to watch episode 1, 2, and 3 to enjoy episode 7 or 14 of Batman the Animated Series. And
You're making me
They're
hungry.
all kind of their own.
they're all standalone, and that's like one of my favorite things. I mean, it works well for Rick and Morty, and it's one of my favorite things about like HBO Max, like all together. Like they've
Oh,
got
yeah. Rick and Morty really and find it funny, but they'll throw little
Yeah,
Easter
you
eggs
watch
in there
all
that you would have
of
to
it.
follow the story to know what they're talking about.
right? It's like sugar on top or cherry on top. Like you don't have to
Little
watch
cherry for the
every episode to understand what's happening in the episode and find it.
There we go.
like,
We haven't
humorous.
thrown some Rick and Morty in there in a while.
Oh my goodness, Robbie, you're right. We broke the streak. We were going to talk about Rick and Morty every episode, but
yeah, Forrest isn't going to tell us.
Forrest.
900 episodes later.
But
We have to fire
there
that
wasn't a
editor.
new episode.
Yeah, sadly.
Wait, Forrest, what episode number is this?
This is 49 or 48, I think. I think 49.
Oh yeah, 49.
Very good.
All right, 20 more to go before we can all be like,
It's already been
yeah.
a year. Because I think Inauguration Day was what? January something last year? When the first episode was?
Yeah,
We've
I
been
think
doing
we
this
started
for
this
a whole year.
podcast to talk about comic books and the Capitol riots on January 6th.
Yeah, like there was an insurrection. It was like, let's start a podcast.
Sarcasm.
So,
oh yeah, we should talk about politics. Everyone enjoys that.
What'd you say? Yeah, we should talk about Peacemaker.
let's talk about
Yeah.
let's talk about the politics of Peacemaker's dad.
Let's talk about Peacemaker. Let's talk about you and me. We're gonna
Let's talk
the
about
fuck
Peacemaker's
out of
dad.
this show on
What
TV.
The crap.
Yo, Peacemaker's so good. But I have to say, shout out to the Mandalorian. Shout out to Boba Fett for finally having a better episode than Peacemaker.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, this one was pretty good though. I thought
Peacemaker was great, but this was the first time that the Book of Boba Fett was better than the Peacemaker episode on a week-to-week
True.
basis.
Oh yeah, it was just that nostalgia of
Granted, I want to
Of
point out
Mandalorian
there was
popping around the
zero Boba Fett in this episode of
Yeah,
Boba Fett.
there was just mention of like,
And
hey, you want
It
a
was
job?
just the
we just cannot move on from
Mandalorian.
Boba Fett. Yeah, it's just like no Boba Fett and Peacemaker either. But let's talk about that one.
Yeah,
So-
well, let's talk about how great Peacemaker is. Holy cow!
So this episode was like what happened again? They just go to the compound where they're making the
This was the
butterfly
field. This was the rally episode, right? Like last episode, all hope was lost. Like they had a little bit of a comeback. They all got shit faced or whatever. But this was the bonding episode. This is when John Economos went from Diebeard to BFFs with the Peacemaker. Right? This is when Harcourt, right? Grew a heart. This is the episode where everyone comes together as a team. And then, spoiler alert, right at the very end, we fucking see Abedetto
No, I don't know. She's
come
probably not
across
dead.
Myrrh as a butterfly, right? So like 99% of the episode is them coming together as a team, and in the last second, chaos, right? I love this. I love the setup. I cannot fucking wait.
Sets up a pretty
for this day.
bad cliffhanger there.
Yeah, I mean it was scary, but I don't know. I don't think she's gonna be dead. I think he's just gonna
No,
knock her.
you can't kill her. No way. Like, what's gonna happen? He's gonna get hit by a car. He's gotta get hit by a car. He's
No,
in
I
the
think
middle
he's
of
just
the
gonna
road. There's no way he
capture
doesn't
her
get hit
and-
by a car.
Yeah, he's just gonna capture her and she's gonna be tied up next episode, and he's gonna reveal his evil plan or whatever.
So,
Just like
Zeitgeist Zealots has never really been about Easter eggs, right? Or breaking down the episode scene by scene. So let's just really talk about our overall thoughts and takeaways of this episode. I thought it was great. Loved the character development. Loved them growing as a team. Loved Chekhov's chainsaw. Holy shit. The first time I was watching the episode, and Vigilante's like, oh, I really want to use a chainsaw, and Harcourt's like, no. I'm like, oh, Chekhov's chainsaw. And then, god dang it, James Gunn, you beautiful son of a bitch, you pay it off. Like, this guy went to film school. You can tell that shit. Like, I've been so pissed off by these recent TV shows using Chekhov's gun and never paying it off.
Well,
and then we get a Chekhov's chainsaw. Not the next episode, but like 5 minutes later. And it's so fucking good.
I think James Gunn was very influenced by the horrible murder of endangered species. Because remember the dolphin and the whale who died? So he was very inspired to have endangered species just absolutely slaughtered.
Yeah, that's a good point. We got Chekhov's chimpanzee too, right? So, and not the last episode, but the episode before that, Peacemaker walks into his dad's house, and we hear the background noise on the TV talking about an escaped gorilla. Right?
Oh yeah,
and then we saw the gorilla this episode.
Yeah,
and cool. The gorilla spoke. Did you guys hear that?
Yeah,
he said,
sure. Everyone,
like, die humans. Like, that was creepy.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm sure everyone was thinking Grodd.
I thought it was Grodd. I was like, dude, I was jizzing my pants. I was like, oh my god, is this Grodd? Like, is this Grodd? But then I didn't see anything on the head, and I was like any helmets or any, like, head plates, and I was like, I don't think this is Grodd. But then he spoke, and I was like, is this Grodd? And then he got chainsawed, and I was like, no way, this is Grodd.
That's his cousin, Todd.
He got chainsawed.
Craig Price.
So the main concern for me in Peacemaker is this vigilante character. He is
so
scary.
Good, right? You're concerned that he's not going to get his own spinoff? I agree, Tip. I agree.
No, he's a sociopath. He's an absolute...
I would love a vigilante spinoff. How great...
We need a psychopath right now.
How great would it be to have a failed movie, Suicide Squad, reboot into the Suicide Squad after the director got fired from Disney, goes over to these guys, creates the Suicide Squad, creates a spinoff, the Peacemaker, before Suicide Squad even comes out, and then creates a vigilante spinoff from the Peacemaker spinoff. Like, the amount of IP that would be created from this guy making homophobic tweets 10 years ago is mind-blowing.
Well, they're already working on Volume 3 right now, I think. So I don't know if it's even filming, but he's very, very busy right now. So, but I think
he's done. I hope so.
He's working on other decent projects too.
What a talented man!
Wait, they're coming out with a new Suicide Squad?
No, I think he's working on other DC stuff. So maybe another sequel, another season of this, or a spinoff of something else. So.
Would you be? Let me ask you this, Forrest and others, et al. If you're speaking Latin. Would you be okay with James Gunn taking over the reins as the Kevin Feige, the AKA the Zack Snyder of the DCEU?
I don't know.
I think
would prefer if they just like do what they're doing with Batman, just keep the franchises separate, and like directors do their own thing. There doesn't need to be like a universe.
So you don't want this? Yeah, you don't want the DCEU connected.
Well,
now Marvel's making all the different Spider-Mans connected.
Well, it's just like, Marvel has to make every character funny now, and it's just getting really, really old. And, it's nice to have, like,
dark
a Batman movie, that's just Batman, and Aquaman movie that's just Aquaman, and not, like, mentioning the Justice League every 5 minutes. So.
Isn't it funny? Like, you need some, like, dark relief to this comic relief of Marvel.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, it's too punny, it's too corny. Yeah, I need some grit in my life.
I need some reality, yeah. So, well, let's talk about the Moon Knight trailer then, at least.
Yeah.
Well, Peacemaker. I'm trying to remember what else happened this episode.
So, speaking of the Mandalorian,
what about his helmet could like see through walls?
Oh yeah,
we're talking
about
that.
Right. You can know who's a butterfly, who's not. So.
Man, what other kind of helmets does he have?
Yeah, we got one.
It was a pretty funny scene where he like goes in there, he's looking through them all, and he's like, "Fuck it," and he just takes them all.
And he's like, the warehouse scene
Like,
was
all right,
fantastic.
So do you think his dad's gonna get out of prison, or what do you think is gonna happen with him? I think eventually his dad's gonna break out and become White Dragon.
Oh, his dad's definitely become White
Yeah,
Dragon before the
yeah,
end of
like
it
we
all.
were saying, other episode. See our other episode.
Yeah,
About that you can't just
last
tease
episode.
that suit and not have somebody put
Oh
it
my
on.
god, that suit looks so good. Like, I fucking hate him and everything he stands for, but fuck me, that suit looks so good.
I think you'll definitely see something in action. So, what if Vigilante becomes White Dragon?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd watch that spinoff. I'd watch the fuck out of that spinoff.
Major,
Yeah,
I don't
I
think
think
they can
Dad's
make a
gonna
White
be
Dragon
point.
spin-off.
I wouldn't watch that. Look, I'll tell you right now, it didn't work for D&D of Game of Thrones, Dan and Dave, and
Yeah.
their Civil War bullshit. It's not going to work on HBO with Peacemaker.
Yeah, they're not gonna have a
They're not going to spin that
white
shit off.
supremacist as the main character of the show. So, yeah, I'm trying to what else happened. There was the gunfight. There was the bonding. There was the twist at the end. There was the subplot with like the guy who knew Myrn, who became like the sheriff, the captain.
Right? I
Told
thought that was
Detective
great.
Song to drop the case, or that the fingerprints were real.
He taps on the window, and Murray's like, oh, why the fucking window? There's a door right there.
Yeah.
And it just, what's happening? Is Murr against all the other butterflies? Like, what's happening in this episode? In this
Well,
series?
he doesn't
What do you
want
guys think?
Peacemaker. He doesn't want Peacemaker arrested or something. So I guess maybe just he's a killer, but
I think he doesn't want Peacemaker arrested, so Peacemaker can follow up, like can stay on the task force and kill all of these butterflies. My question is, why does this one butterfly Murr want to kill all the other butterflies?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Like, is he a
We're
bad
probably
guy,
gonna
Gotta
find out
have-
after episodes left.
gotta have some kind
or
of
is
deal
he a
going
good
on.
guy?
I'm gonna imagine. Remember Judo Master said the butterflies aren't what you think. So
Right?
I mean, they were taking over people's bodies, so that's kind of messed up. But
Go through your mouth or through your butt.
yeah,
What a
And what was it?
PowerPoint. And what an
Yeah.
asshole John Cena is. I mean, Peacemaker. John Cena plays the character perfectly. Did you guys not laugh out loud? Like, that has to be like a spontaneous. I would love to see like the thrown away edit versions of like John Cena spewing out celebrities for like 5-10 fucking minutes while they cut that shit together.
well, I think we saw that in like the after credit scene. 'Cause remember,
Yeah, that was
named-
exactly right. Like, I would love another 5 minutes of that.
even though he named a lot of people who are dead, like the Beatles, the Beatles. But
It was kind of funny.
Not Ariana Grande. I laughed out loud. I was.
yeah, there's definitely some improv on their
Yeah.
part. But yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, I think there's a lot of action in this episode. It was a pretty good episode. I'm interested to see what's going to happen with Clemson Myrn and Aboya. Sorry, I can't remember her name correctly. Even though her last name's Waller, obviously.
Well, yeah. No one else knows that, or it'd all be given away.
So is that like her first and middle name, or is that like her wife's name? Is that, or is it?
Oh,
like,
that's a good question. I actually don't
I mean, I
know.
guess you can't.
As
say
someone
that
who's
she's
seen the
Amanda Waller's
episode,
daughter.
as someone who's seen every episode at least 3 times, it's not clear to me.
Yeah, I think she's just an alias, so no one knows she's Amanda Waller's daughter.
That would make the most sense to me.
Because I think her wife just calls her by her first name, so I guess you would know her.
Yeah. You would know, like, yeah.
Also, I don't know if this bothered me, but how convenient is it that everything that's going down with the alien invasion just happens to be within driving distance of Peacemaker's trailer, huh?
I said
yeah.
that last episode. I was like, how convenient that like the first fucking invasion is like in the hometown of.
It's like he can like go
Peacemaker.
to a factory full of aliens. invading
plot
Yeah, it's all in
on the
driving
same day.
distance.
You got plot armor, you got plot convenience.
Yo, fucking give this guy a quill. He speaks the fucking truth. Write that shit down, Robbie. Tell that shit. Turn into an NFT.
Yeah.
Fucking genius over here.
Have you ever heard of NFTs?
Oh yeah. Oh,
So, what are your predictions for next week? Which episode's gonna be better? Boba Fett or
Peacemaker.
Between the 2 6s.
I don't know. I think they're gonna go all out with Boba Fett. So
I think they're
next
gonna
episode
go
is gonna
all
be-
out on
man.
Boba Fett. You're right.
Yeah,
about
if
that.
this is like the team up episode, that'd be pretty bad.
And we know that Boba Fett's getting on a cliffhanger.
Now, let me ask you this.
An open episode. Yep.
Is the next episode going to be Mando going to get Grogu? Or
No, it'll be
are we
Boba
going to
Fett
see
episode.
that in season 3 of Mandalorian?
I think it was season 3 of Mandalorian.
Me too.
They
I think it's going to go back to Boba Fett, and then
related.
in the last episode, we're going to see Mando and Grogu show up. And then in the Mandalorian season 3, we're going to see him go get Grogu and then learn how to use the fucking Darksaber by Luke. Like, how cool would it be for Mando to get trained by Luke how to use the Darksaber? Because-
Well, he's no longer a Mandalorian.
Is
He
he
can
still-
become a Jedi.
Now
Well,
he's
that's
got-
gonna be
in the
season
timelines.
3. That's gonna be that's gonna be like the whole mission of season 3 is to go to Mandalore. But like I'm talking about the first couple episodes because like look, we've seen in the prequel series, we've seen younglings, right? Jedi younglings not have a single problem with these Jedi lightsabers. Now, granted, they were smaller, but like at least in my knowledge, I don't remember any like. Even Luke in A New Hope, he never had any problem wielding a lightsaber due to the heaviness of it.
Yeah.
So-
I guess the Darksaber's
Yeah,
tied
it's
to
all
emotion.
about you're using your force
Must be some dark
to
matter.
make it not as heavy.
Oh, some physics jokes. Dark matter's heavy as fuck.
Well-
But yeah, no, you're probably right. I'd love to see in Mando season 3 though, Luke train Mando how to use the lightsaber, but I'm okay with seeing Mando come back in the last episode of Boba Fett and just be completely fetched, just like 10 out of 10, amazing with the Darksaber, just fucking cutting people up left and right. Cannot wait.
He goes full Jedi battle on him. Where,
Can you imagine if James Gunn
where instead of
had-
just struggling.
Can you imagine if James Gunn had like a Boba Fett IP property on HBO Max? Can you imagine the bloodshed? Like just the difference between Boba Fett on
R-rated
Disney
Star
Plus
Wars.
and Boba Fett on HBO Max. Can you imagine
he
the difference between those two
cut
fucking?
man's head off. So
Yeah.
I'm talking about hundreds of liters of blood
Like nothing.
difference between the two.
Well, I'm interested to see what
Nothing
James Gunn
cut
does
away.
from DC because he has way more license to do violent, depraved stuff on HBO Max than he does over at Marvel owned by Disney. So,
Exactly.
but yeah, we'll see. Well, let's talk about the Moon Knight trailer real quick. Everyone see that?
No, speaking of
Yeah.
Mandalorian, yes, Oscar
Speaking of
Isaac.
Moonlight trailer.
Moon Knightorian. The Moon Knight.
Uh, the Moon Knightorian, I like that.
Moon Knight tip. He goes around mooning criminals.
Yeah, he shines them his white shiny Irish ass, and they blind themselves,
Oh.
and they just give themselves up
Yep.
to cops.
What a power!
I
What?
know. It's very specific.
You have the same power tip, don't you? Tell us more about it.
Yeah, I'd open up my butt crack and show the criminals
I
my
think-
pulsating hemorrhoids.
I think that's enough.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah,
that's great. Thank you.
I can't go.
This has been a special interview from Super Saiyan Tip over here.
Yeah. So anyway, the Moon Knight trailer has
His
Oscar
hemorrhoids are
Isaac.
over 9,000.
Yeah. So it has Oscar Isaac, and he's playing a British man.
And he's so good. I love Oscar Isaac. I'm
Yeah, he's
very
great.
excited
So
for
it's
Moon
a good thing he didn't like mouth off against Disney like John Boyega did, because they were like, "Oh,
Yeah.
you're nice to us. You can have it. You can have your own Marvel
Can't
show."
wait to see the next John Boyega show on Disney Plus.
I don't know who could John Boyega play in the Marvel universe.
Trailer on Marvel has 27 million views now.
Yeah, I mean, to put the Marvel tag in front of anything, like even a character as obscure as Moon Knight.
Yeah, but like, doesn't Baby Shark have like 10 billion views? And like,
God.
who's gonna say?
That's been on YouTube for like 10
parents
years
just-
ago.
Who's there to
playing it.
say Baby Shark is better than Avengers Endgame?
Oh, I don't know. So anyway, so Moon Knight has Oscar Isaac. He's a British dude. He starts seeing these sort of Egyptian hallucinations, like I think like giant mummies crawling down the hall to get him in the elevator. And we find out he gets a phone call from this woman. It says he's Mark.
I'm pregnant.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
like
man, and how they lined up that scene with the old lady coming in the elevator,
Yeah, that was
just
that was
cowering in the corner.
That was so
But
good.
yeah, but I don't know if y'all know anything about Moon Knight. But she called him Mark because he has multiple personalities. I think the British one is it's called Stephen Grant, and that's like then like his main persona.
He's got a ton
Mark
of
Spector.
personalities. Like he's a cab driver. There's
Yep.
a ton of stuff he does.
I think he's like 3 main personalities. Like Stephen Grant's not like a British curator or gift shop employee in the comics. He's like an entrepreneur or investment guru. So, but that's like sort of like so he can take on white collar crime, and Jake Lockley, the cab driver, so he can like, investigate underworld crime. And like Mark Spector's like his main persona, and then the like, Moon Knight is like when he dresses up. So, well, it looks like the Moon Knight costume is going to be supernatural.
That's
And
pretty cool.
yeah, I think
Whoa.
typically it's
Supernatural
the
is in
costume
the TV
comics,
show, or is
but-
it in like CGI?
Yeah, so it's gonna be. So it looks like a mummy in a cape. So,
Yes, yeah, that's what I thought too. And I was
but did y'all
like, oh.
notice what? Did y'all notice what he was like punching at the end of the trailer? He was
No,
like,
I
looks like
didn't.
I think it's the Werewolf by Night, and that's like.
No, that's the comic he was introduced in, wasn't it?
Yeah, but the Werewolf by Night's already been cast. The what's the guy's name? Gael Garcia Bale. I don't know if you know.
If that's not a werewolf name, I don't know what it is. No, I'm kidding. But no, I mean, if they already cast him, that sounds like a pretty
so I'm
surefire
feeling he's going to be
idea.
introduced.
It's a good
I think he's
theory.
going to have like his own Halloween special later this year, the Werewolf by Night. But I think he's going to be introduced in Moon Knight. So also be a good way to introduce Blade because you like werewolves, vampires, mummies. So get all the monsters together, and maybe Ghost Rider too. But y'all have all seen the trailer there, right? Y'all also remember Ethan Hawke?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's like some sort of cult leader. It looks like he's probably be the bad guy.
You think he's gonna be a good bad guy?
No,
Or
he's
is
gonna,
this-
I think he's going to be great as a bad guy, but I think he's going to be a bad dude. But I think Ethan Hawke said he's basing his character off of David Koresh from Waco, who's another cult leader.
Oh,
Yeah.
So that's pretty
oh,
great.
that'll be good.
Yeah, so I think the rumor is he's playing a character called Sun King, who is like Moon Knight's the avatar for the moon god Khonshu, and Sun King's the avatar for the sun god Ra. So,
That
Well,
makes
and you
sense.
mentioned, remember the song that's playing day and night, you know? So what a perfect way to foreshadow the conflict.
Now, Ethan Hawke, he's known for like Training Day and Before Sunrise, Before Midnight, or
Yeah,
Before
he's
Sunset.
done a lot of like independent stuff. I mean, like
Yeah.
Training Day was like I think a pretty big movie. It was like a movie about vampires called like Daybreakers. I think where like everyone's a vampire except like a few human minorities, and there's a blood shortage. So, but he's been a lot. I think he was in Dead Poet Society. That's probably his first big movie with Robin Williams. He's been around for a long time, but I think it's like probably the first thing that he's done that's this big. First superhero thing he's done, but yeah, it's pretty cool. So he should do a good job.
Hopefully, we'll find out.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm expecting I'm gonna have higher expectations for this than Hawkeye. Because that show was a little underwhelming.
Oh, I'll tell you this: I had very low expectations for Hawkeye, and it exceeded all expectations because they were so low.
Maybe yeah. So
You just made him too low.
if you have
Yeah,
really
it's
low
fucking
expectations,
Hawkeye.
you
How
might
good
be
is that show
surprised.
gonna be? Turns out better than What If or Captain Hawkboy and Winter Coldman.
Yeah. Well, I had very low expectations.
Winter
for Thunder
Coldman, eh?
Carnage, and they were met. They were very low.
Oh, the Winter Soldier.
But
There we
yeah,
go. I hit
yeah.
Tips tickle bone.
Yeah.
It's
Well, that's
funny.
pretty much all I have.
Sorry.
Are you looking forward to Moon Knight?
I'm looking forward to Moon Knight, but not as much as I'm looking forward to the next episodes of Boba Fett and Peacemaker. I'm just
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
excited
Boba.
to see. I don't think I've felt this much anticipation and excitement since maybe WandaVision.
Okay.
Like, I just can't wait to find out what happens next. And
Yeah.
like, I didn't have that in The Winter Soldier. What was the one after that?
Loki. But
Loki,
was
right? Oh, Loki was pretty good. I had a lot of anticipation for
Loki is by far and away the best of the Disney Plus show. So hopefully Moon Knight can surpass that. I think it has the potential to, but
Do you think Loki was better than The Mandalorian season 1 or 2?
I think it was the best Marvel Disney Plus show.
Okay, yeah. I
But I
might,
think I feel like Mandalorian better.
I believe I would
as
agree
the
with
show.
that.
But I mean, Moon Knight I think has potential to be the best Marvel Disney Plus show.
For
And-
sure. I mean, you the talents of Oscar Isaac, and then it seems
Even
like you have
Falcon.
an actual storyline that you could actually follow.
Yeah, and it's like a character we've never seen before. So like, all the other shows, I think, yeah, they were characters that we'd previously been introduced in past Marvel
Right.
projects. But it's
Like-
like
The excitement of WandaVision was why is Vision still alive? The excitement of Captain America and the Winter Soldier was nothing, right? And the excitement of Loki was like, how does he stay alive?
why is he alive?
Why is he alive? Right?
Yeah, but
So,
yeah,
like,
it's like a character they're just introducing for the first time.
When
so-
is he alive?
yeah, this seems like the first like independent project that's obviously not independent because it's Marvel, but it's a breath of fresh air, a breath of fresh air in the Marvel IP.
Yeah.
So,
I'm
yeah.
looking forward to
For
it.
it.
Yeah,
But
that's
not as
that's
much
actually
as
all
I
have
am
today.
Peacemaker and Boba Fett episode 6.
Yeah, it'll be a good week for TV this week. I feel I need to finish Ozark. I feel bad. I've neglected. I started episode 1 of season 4, but I need to hurry and finish. But yeah, so that's it for us. You want
Straight
to
up,
plug our social
Forrest.
media, Mage?
Yeah, please let us know what you thought about episode 5 of Boba Fett, aka The Mandalorian, season 3, episode 1, part deuce, point o deuce, whatever, and Peacemaker, episode 5. You can hit us up on Twitter at ZZealot Podcast. We'd love to hear what you think. And from there, you can follow the links, join our Discord, and join in the conversation. We'd love to have you. We'd love to hear what you think about the next episodes of our favorite shows.
Dragon Ball Z.
No.
It's over 9,000!
Next time.
AKA
All right,
the
I'm
greatest meme of all time. I'm Major.
Now I'm Robbie.
And I am Caboose.
Bye,
right.
Tip. Worst